Hello students, I hope you all are fine and studying well. So today we are going to start the first poem of your Honeycomb book, The Squirrel. And before going into the poem, let us first discuss about a squirrel. I'm sure that you all have seen a squirrel running here and there, all over the trees, in your fields and near your houses. So here is a picture of a squirrel. As you can see how lovely and beautiful it is looking. It is a rodent, very playful and naughty, and it has a bushy tail. You all have tried to play with squirrel and maybe sometime try to catch it too. So similar is the poet. Now what the poet is doing in this poem, we will read about it. So now let us enjoy reciting the poem The Squirrel, written by Mildred Bars Armstrong. So now let's start. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play. And if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. Now let's recite it again. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play. And if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. Now I will explain the poem line wise. Now these lines are all about the squirrel. This is what the poet notices about the squirrel. So our first line is, he wore a question mark for tail. The first thing that the poet notices about the squirrel is its tail. The shape of its tail is like a question mark. And if you see carefully and closely to your books, you will notice the shape of the tail is looking like a question mark. You can see here also. Okay? An overcoat of grey. This line tells us about the body of the squirrel. It is greyish in color. Now you all must be thinking that this squirrel is not of grey color, but the squirrel which is in your book is having grey color. Okay? Hence, it looks like a coat, like the way we wear overcoat when there is lot of cold outside. So similarly, the poet is saying that this squirrel is wearing a grey color coat. Okay? He sat up straight to eat a nut. This line refers to the sitting posture of this squirrel. The squirrel is sitting straight, eating nuts. Now, we all know that the squirrel loves to eat nut. It is one of the characteristics of a squirrel that whenever it eats, it sits straight. Else, the squirrel usually sits and runs with a bended backs. Now, coming to the next line, he liked to tease and play. Now, what does the squirrel loves to do? Yes, it loves to tease and play. Here you have to remember that the word he refers to the squirrel. And if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. You all must have noticed that whenever we go near the squirrel or run behind him to play or maybe to catch it, it quickly runs away. Same in the case of the poet. Whenever he along with his friends go near the squirrel to play, the squirrel runs away. It runs the other way. In this line, the pronoun we. Okay? Pronoun we. Now, this pronoun refers to the poet and his friends. I think, students, it was a very easy poem. Now, quickly, I will summarize the poem for you. In the poem The Squirrel, the poet Mildred Bars Armstrong describes a squirrel that he observes in his garden. The poet describes how the squirrel is covered in grey fur, sits in an upright position on a tree bunch and eating a nut. His tail looks like a question mark because of its bending shape. The happy and lively squirrel loves to play with the poet and his friends. Whenever they ran around his tree, he would run the other side of the tree. The poet tells us about the nature of the squirrel, that it is innocently naughty. This squirrel is very naughty and it likes to tease and play. It likes to tease everyone who comes near to him. So dear students, now I hope you all have understood the poem. So now we will move towards the question answers of this poem. So first question is, why does the poet say the squirrel wore a question mark for the tail? Why is he saying this? Draw a squirrel or find a picture of a squirrel sitting on the ground. So you can either draw a squirrel or you can find out its picture also. How would you describe its tail? And you have to tell about its tail. So as we can see in the picture, its tail is looking like question mark. It is having the shape of question mark. So our answer is, the poet says that the squirrel wore a question mark for its tail because the shape of a squirrel's tail looks like a question mark. Okay. So next question is, do we usually say that an animal wear a tail? What do we say? Think, does an animal wear a coat? So have you seen any animal wearing a coat? Consult a dictionary if you like and find out how wear is used in different ways. So you have to make sentences using wear. Okay. So our answer is, usually it is said that an animal has a tail. So what do we say? We say that animal has a tail. Animal has eyes, ears. Okay. The poet has used wore in the poem in order to make an image of what he saw. This is an example of imaginary, means imagination. So why he has used wore? Because he was using his imagination power. Okay. So these are few sentences using where. You can make your own sentences. Now third question is, he liked to tease and play. Who is teasing? Whom? How? So who is teasing? The squirrel is teasing. And to whom? To poet and his friends. And how? When they ran around its tree, it went the other way. It changed its way. To tease them, it always changed its way. Okay? So this is all about this poem. Now I hope you all have understood the question answers as well as the explanation of this poem. Okay? So now you write this poem in your notebook in clean and neat handwriting. We will meet in next video. Till then, stay safe, keep studying. Thank you.